Going
All right,
live in
we
three,
live. We live
three,
right
two,
now.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
So finally, just like I was trying to explain in the pre-show, we're finally on YouTube now. Shadow Code Radio has been on the Blog Talk platform, on the Anchor platform, Apple iTunes, Spotify. Finally, we are on YouTube, and this is a landmark moment for us. We've been doing this show. Reese has been doing this show for 10 years plus.
Yeah.
I've been on it on and off through those 10 years. Really, last 4 or 5 years, it's been he and I, Sean P and Reese. So finally, we're on YouTube, and welcome. It's a whole new world for us. We're here definitely on my page, Sean P Reviews, on Reese's page, um, for Torture Talk in the Torture Chamber. Definitely like, share, and subscribe. You will see both of these, all of our videos, all of our shows on both of our platforms now. So, welcome. So, with that being said, let's get to tonight's show. We got a lot to talk about in hip hop. We've been trying to talk about the Kendrick Lamar album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And since everybody has had a time to digest the last 3 weeks, it's taken over the hip hop world. Now we're going to ask: is anybody going to top this album this year? Is this hands down the album of the year? Should we just end the race now, or can anybody top this? Anybody out now? Do you think has an album that rivals this project? So we're going to get a lot of interesting takes on that. And I want to go and talk about something that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Really, with the 50th anniversary of the birthday of Notorious B.I.G., who turned 50. Diddy and Jay-Z did an interview where Diddy basically explained and said that he was and always is the heir apparent to Biggie and Tupac, and he took the torch from them and ran with it, where it wasn't even close as to the greatness of the greatness in hip hop that Jay-Z produced, and he took basically that torch that Biggie and Pac passed to them, and nobody touched it, did it the way Jay-Z did. So that created quite a controversy. So we're going to address that, and we're going to address, well, if um, it wasn't Jay-Z, who did Biggie and Pac pass the torch to? I know there are a few MCs and rappers you have in mind. We're going to address all of them. So we're going to have that in our second part of the show. But let's start. Reese, is anybody topping Kendrick Lamar this year, flat out? Can anybody beat that album? Well, first give your review of it, quick review. I'll give my quick review because I have some more things to say about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
I doubt it. I don't think nobody's gonna top this album. It's just getting started. I think once he drops the "We Cry" video, it's over. We cry together. It's over because he could go so many different ways, he could go so many different avenues with this album, especially visually. He could change a lot visually. He could change the whole conversation visually because now his music has a lot of meaning to it. See, a lot of music that come out now, it's really no meaning to it. It's just basically microwave. We like it for right now.
Yeah.
This type of music can be around for a long time. And I totally believe that this "We Cry" video is going to be something special because it's going to show the harsh realities of what really goes on in black relationships. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if he can pull that off, He's definitely gonna set himself apart. He already did, but and then you got other songs that he can elaborate on. Like if he does the Auntie Diary song, it's a rap. It's a rap because that's another song that I think that visually it'll explain a lot of stuff about women in the hood who were gay back then and they called themselves dykes, and it was a little bit different back then because like he said, you could use the word faggot, faggot, faggot like it was it was nothing back
Yeah.
then. It was just like a joke. But now you can't say it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see nobody topping this album. I mean, maybe you might get an album maybe sound better, but as far as the
The
impact that this
content.
album's gonna have,
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. This is gonna be
Um.
around for a minute.
Well, I'll just start to say it sold 295,000 copies in 1 week. For I don't know who can top that sales wise or impact wise. Um. I don't think Kanye's gonna drop again. I don't know if Drake's gonna drop again. Um. But I'll get to that. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This album has actually um has grown on me. I said it was about an 8.5 to 9 in my previous review. Uh, I think it's legitimately, I would say legitimately a 9 out of 10 right now. I'll get to who I think is a competition right now, but Reese, you know why I like this album? I think this album actually is is definitely his third best album. I might even say it rivals To Pimp a Butterfly, even though To Pimp a Butterfly had better production. That was more of a West Coast type of album. But you know what I like about this album is that there's no. This is just straight. He's just coming to you live and direct. Like
Yeah.
my criticism of Kendrick um, has always been that the weirdo rap thing, the high pitched voice inflection, the over animation. He did a bunch of extra stuff that I really didn't feel.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that on here. It's just straight rap or him just using dynamic flows or him just harmonizing,
Mm-hmm.
but making great music at it. You know what I mean? He's just
Yeah.
coming you live and direct, and conceptually, he's not going over your head.
Yeah.
He's coming directly through visual stories as what's going on. Even the metaphor of him, fucking with a white girl, trying to get out the aggression from all the slave oppression and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You got that. See, To Pimp a Butterfly, you kind of you really had to put yourself in that story and follow the concept of Lucy, where a lot of people will go over your heads, and
Mm-hmm.
that's cool, that's fine, but that's only for like advanced hip hop listeners. For somebody who just wants to hear just raw hip hop and raw rap, this is a good album for that. Not only that, he does a little bit of slick talk on this. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
does some of his bars. He's like bragging about, yeah, I'm that dude. Something about I do a show about 2 mil, but I'm worth two more. Something like that. Something
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at first he didn't pick up on it, but I'm like, wait, this is Kendrick. Like,
Yeah.
like he really, believe it or not, he kind of reminded me of Nas on this. This
Mm-hmm.
album kind of reminded me a little bit of the King's Disease 1 and 2 projects. Like I
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of that in this album. And that's why I'm kind of this is a little bit of a different Kendrick, believe
Yeah.
it or not. This
Yeah.
is not To Pimp a Butterfly, you know, over conceptual Kendrick. This is kind of dope.
Yeah. I think this is how would I say? I think this ain't the musical version of Kendrick. This is the human version of Kendrick. This
Yeah.
is this is just me as a person, Kendrick. This ain't the artist Kendrick Lamar. This is me as a person. This is my life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think when you make music like that, when you talk about like, cause Pac did it, some of the best music comes from people who talk about their life, and like Joe Buttons is really good at that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He was really good at emotional music that'll make you feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And he spoke
yeah,
from the heart. I think this is the emo Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we never got emo Kendrick. This is emo Kendrick now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, it's gonna be hard.
Talk about
You can't really
their life.
duplicate that. You know what I'm
And
saying?
Joe Buttons is really good at that.
It's gonna be
You know
hard.
what I'm saying? He's really
Hard to
good at
top.
emotion.
You know what I'm saying? Hard to top that. Like it really is. So I don't know, man. I don't see nobody topping it this year. I don't care who comes out with an album. Cause this is like I said, this only been 2 weeks and it's still being talked about. And he hasn't really dropped anything else. And that video 9-5 is crazy. That video is
yeah.
crazy.
That is a fire video, man. It's a
He's
fire
sitting in
song.
the
I just
chair
loved it.
and the car go flying by. It's
Oh yeah.
like, bro,
I just
Kendrick Lamar videos are classic, yo.
I just love the I just love the energy on that record. It kind of almost has a little bit of a New York drill cadence to it.
Yeah.
That's why I fuck with it. I know it bangs on the radio, bangs in the club. That's a radio you could play anywhere, the streets, the club. Um, I mean, he delivered on this. It's a solid 9 out of 10. Now, as far as like the competition, see, all right, I'm a little bit torn. I'm not as it's hands down Kendrick Lamar. I think it's the best conceptual album of the year, but I turn on Pusha. I'm still fucking with the Pusha T album. I love the production on there. That's the best production of the year. I turn on Benny. That's the best street album of the year. I think Ransom, and this is not any, shame on Kendrick. I still think Ransom has the best bars of this year as far as lyrics is concerned. So I'm kind of torn between all four of them yet. But when it's said and done, Kendrick's going to have the most impact. But at the same time, what if you listen to the other three albums on the same level? So
Mm-hmm.
all I got to say is a great year for hip hop.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, I think Kendrick will win out. I would have to say, as an overall project, this is probably the best album this year. But that doesn't. I don't want to shame any of the other guys because they put out phenomenal projects as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you see in the race all of
Um,
this lines up.
you know, for me, those albums you named is you already know how I feel about Rand. All those albums are great. You know what I'm saying? They're all great, but I think that this album stands apart from them. You know what I'm saying? And maybe because of conceptually, because we could argue that the production on the other albums may be better. You know what I'm saying? But I think that this joint just grabs you and holds on to you, and he left you with these moments, and he made you feel some type of way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know some people. I told you I seen on YouTube. I seen people crying on some of these songs,
Oh yeah,
and I think that's, to me, that's why I draw the line. And I said, okay,
powerful message.
the messaging just overshadows everything else,
Yeah,
because it's only gonna get like more stronger as we go on. Like the song "We Gonna Be All Right." When that first came out, it was cool until they used it in protests, and it became a global thing. You had people in China saying "We Gonna Be All Right." You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I think that this is a peek into the black community, and I think that Kendrick Lamar has set itself apart from all other rappers, and not on some like you could just tell he don't fuck with nobody. You know what I'm saying? He's basically like, yeah, This is me. This is my shit. I don't really care about whatever y'all doing. After Control, you really don't see him really doing shit with other. Actually, he hasn't done anything with other rappers. Only person
Yeah,
he worked with was, I think, Weeknd. That was it. Nobody else. He really ain't do nothing with no other rappers like that. Except, well, you got Kodak Black, and then you got, and it's crazy how that came about. You got Kodak Black, who was the butt of the jokes. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Kodak Black," like, they said, "Who's trash?" He was always the number one guy, Kodak
yeah,
Black. You know what I'm saying? And you got Baby Keem. So, and I was surprised. Well, Ghostface was on the project, but
yeah,
that's really it, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is gonna be one of those years, because I heard Jay coming out with an album this year. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I think I would say this real quick. I think a lot of artists, not rappers, artists, the stuff that Nas is putting out, the stuff that Kendrick is putting out, Nas reinvented himself. I think that people need to take note and say, okay, these guys are making music. They're trying to do something that's pushing the envelope. I think that if Royce come out with an album and the songs I heard that he been doing, it's gonna be pretty good. So
those
I
are
don't
some
know, man.
interesting names you brought up because, and that's why I paused for a minute. I don't want to go and say, all right, game over, Kendrick wins, but Royce is dropping another project, and I think this is a prove it project for Royce. He's been under a lot of some scrutiny of late.
Mm-hmm.
Jay's been called out. We're gonna get to Jay a little bit later. But in the last year, Jay's taken some shots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when Jay gets, we've always said when you saw what Blueprint was, he's got some things to talk about. Nas is coming with King's Disease 3.
Mm-hmm.
The really the fourth installment with him and Hit Boy. And the run of the three of those albums are one of the best runs in hip hop history. He's still got artists like Freddie Gibbs, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot to share, given his controversies in the last year. He's going to have a lot to say and people to address on there. I don't think this is over yet. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't. There are too many
yeah.
great MCs, but to the point of you're making about Nas and Kendrick, they're making. I want to see them make people rap again.
Mm-hmm.
Come back to not just lazy, cliche type of hip hop. Make great albums again. Put together projects again, and that's what the beauty of this year really is all about.
Yeah, I think I seen a piece of an interview, a new interview with Kendrick, where they asked him. They said, "What made you make this album? Why can't why?" He said, "Well, I could easily make an album with all radio hits. That's nothing. I could do that all day." He said, "I have plenty of songs." He said he had lost a hard drive that had 3,000 songs on it. He said
Yeah,
they tried to get it fixed, and what's the name? So they lost like 3,000 songs. That's incredible. But he was basically saying like he could easily made the traditional conventional album, but he said, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make something that people feel, and I'm gonna tell people about my infidelities, and you can't get around stuff like that. That's real life shit. That's why in the world of battle rap, right? The person that gives you the most believability bars always wins. So you could be the most amazing rapper with all these different bars, but if I talk about you and you as a person, I'm always going to win because those bars go on forever because it's real. This is how I feel about this album. I think this is just a taste of what we're gonna see from this album in the next 5 years. I think this is gonna go even further. But
yeah.
that's how I
Well,
feel, man.
that's what's needed in hip hop. It's
Yes,
definitely
you're right.
needed.
You're right. You're
But
right.
it's gonna be an interesting race. That's all I got to say. I just could imagine the Grammy nominations this
Yeah,
year, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot of competition. Another thing, real quick,
yeah.
when you see J. Cole, and Drake, when they see an album like this, what are they thinking? Are they thinking, "Oh well, we need to up our game to be better MCs"? Or are they just going to follow their formula? I almost seen J. Cole going in this direction anyway, because he's really tightened up the race in the last
Mm.
couple of years. But what is Drake going to do when he sees an album like this?
I think um I think Drake at this point feels as though that he's already a made man, and I don't think that he's gonna really do anything that sways him from doing whatever he's been doing. I think he's at this point where it's basically this is what he does. He's a hit maker. He don't really care about, I'm not gonna say he don't care, but he don't really want to do a whole rap album. He don't really want to be conscious. He just want to be the hit machine. And whenever it comes down to it, he's gonna be paid for the rest of his life. I think he has fell into that that trap. But he just got a new deal with I think the same label Weekend is on. They paid him $400 million, Drake.
Yeah,
But
I
here's
saw.
the crazy part about that. They they didn't disclose how much money they gave Weekend, but they made Weekend a top exec over there. So now he's a top exec and he's a part of that. And Drake is on the same label now. You know what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
didn't know
So
that.
yeah, it's that's why I was saying on the page, if they do an album now, they finally could do an album together, which would be classic to me. But outside of that, as far as uh as far as what's the name goes, like Kendrick, I mean, at this point, I'm J. Cole, I'm sorry. J. Cole, I think J. Cole is the closest one to come to something like this. But he would have to do it in a fashion where it doesn't look like he's trying to copy. You know what I'm saying? He would have to do it in a different type of fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there are similarities with the off season in this album.
Yeah,
I think J. Cole slowly has gotten developed into the artist that Kendrick is now and was before. J.
mm,
Cole had holes in his game. I don't think he has any holes anymore. And he's
yeah,
accomplished now. And he
yeah,
knows the right sound now, beat wise and sonically, that people can't call him boring no more. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So I think it would be interesting even if J. Cole decides to drop I think the Fall Off is the next album he's gonna drop. If he decides to drop by the end of this year.
mm,
Um but the competition is definitely on. But see, this is why you love hip hop. You want to see the best artists putting out their best work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's a good look. It's a good look for everybody. So definitely
Let me
check
ask you
that
this.
album
Let
out.
me ask you
Huh?
this. Let me ask you this. When Good Kid, Mad City came out, what album topped that year? And then and so on and so forth. When Pimp a Butterfly came out, what album do you believe topped that?
That was
When Damn came out,
2012.
what album you think
Um,
topped that?
I know Godson, not Godson. Life is Good came out that year.
That
Um,
was a good competition that year.
that Nas dropped that year. Um, but Good Kid, Mad City, I think is by far his best project.
Yeah,
I think Good Kid, Mad City is arguably. I think it's safe to say it's a top 20 hip hop album of all time, maybe top 15. You know what I mean? Um, What else dropped in that year? I know Rick Ross dropped in that year. Kanye and Jay was the year before that. Um, yeah, I do remember Godson in 2012. In 2015, I want to say it was Pinata that dropped the same year. It's Pimp a Butterfly. Sahai was the year after, or what have you. I can't really remember off top, but it was around that time period
Yeah.
that those albums dropped.
Yeah, I guess my question was, whenever Kendrick dropped a year, usually he wins that year. Even when the best artist comes. I think at this point,
Well, when Damn dropped, it was a competition with him and Jay in 444.
yeah,
I would say 444 gets that battle.
yeah,
Um, even though a lot of people praise Damn,
yeah,
I don't think that. Honestly, I like this album better than Damn.
yeah.
I'll put it out there. I think Damn is his fourth, maybe
He dropped
fifth.
two albums that year. Black Panther and Damn came out the same year, right?
Damn came out in 17. Black Panther came out early in 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And that was a compilation, obviously. But yeah, yeah, I think it stacks up where I may say this rivals. We'll give it time, but rivals to Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Mm.
So we brought up Jay-Z earlier. Jay is dropping another project this year. Reportedly. I I pretty much think he is, because when Jay says he's gonna drop an album, he usually does. But
Yeah.
but there's some controversy in the air, and Diddy did an interview on one of those phone platforms. I forget what it is, People Talk or something like that.
Come on,
Where
Spaces,
yeah,
Twitter
where
Spaces.
where he on the anniversary of Biggie's 50th birthday, which would be his 50th birthday, he said, "You know what? You were the one destined, and you carried the torch from the passing of Biggie and Pop." And Diddy added on, he doubled down and said, "Not only did you pass the torch, you took it and ran with it where nobody could touch it." You know what I mean? Like and Jay kind of was modest, but after a while, Jay said, "Well, yeah, I had a tremendous amount of success. I did this and all of that, and but for whatever reason, that kind of upset people on the internet. I know several bloggers, several content creators. I mean, they really were, that really raised an eyebrow to the point where they've been doing, semi anti J content for like the last 3-4 weeks now. Where does this J slander come from? And it's like, listen, I did a video on my YouTube channel about this. If he didn't take the torch from Biggie and Pac, who did? I know the two people you're gonna say, but I got rebuttals against both of them.
You want me?
But here's my whole thing. Why the outrage? I mean, I'm trying to understand it.
Um, I think some people don't have really nothing else to talk about. So whenever Jay jumps out and says, I mean, they was outraged when he said, "Well,
The
nobody can't
verses.
stand in front of me." You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
the
"Oh, you're
verses.
crazy!" Like, there's a plenty of people that would beat Jay. You got people making lists like, "What songs are you gonna use?" Like, you know what I'm saying? I think Jay at this point, he's a made man, and people want to see him fall off anything they can do to get him to be, because Once you reach a certain status, people want to just chop you down. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants nobody to be number one. Because if Big and Pac was still living, they'll be treating them the same way. Oh, you ain't as good. You're trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think once you start speaking on the dead, and I think when Jay he was modest about it. I think once you start speaking on the dead, people look at that even like they look at that strangely. But I don't see why you can't say that Jay took the torch. I don't see why. Like, what has he done that wasn't successful or wasn't good?
I mean, and I said this in my video on Sean P Reviews. 1997 was the last official year of the Biggie and Pac era because Biggie passed in March of 1997. So that was the last year we had live Biggie music, if you will. And No Way Out ran that year. That whole summer was Wu Tang, was No Way Out and Diddy and Biggie. You know what I mean? Pac passed the year before. So in 1998, that was the first official year we didn't have either one alive to make you know memorable music. And in 1998, let's go back to it, man. Everywhere we went, man, it was DMX and it was Jay Z. In '99, it was DMX and it was Jay Z. You know what I mean? Hard Knock Life was everywhere. I mean, the Hard Knock Life. The what was that tour? Survival of the Illest tour. To the Hard Knock Life tour was the biggest tour. I mean, so I'm thinking the end of the '90s who rivaled that, and then once the 2000s hit, and you had Blueprint, you had Black Album. I mean, you just had the Run by Jay on the radio from Give It to Me to all of the hits. I mean, Jay owned the clubs. I mean, he was on the Mount Rushmore of the 2000s. I mean, you could say, of course, it's going to be Eminem and Nas. That's the two obvious two people, and it took. Well, I'll speak on Eminem first. There are two things about Eminem. One, his catalog does not resonate as well to multiple audiences as far as hardcore hip hop audiences. So after about the mid 2000s, Eminem's catalog kind of faded out as far as being a superior man, even though he continues to sell phenomenal numbers and sell out shows 100,000 strong, you know. And then there was Nas, who until the Hit Boy run, it was still viewed as Jay having the upper hand. Now that Nas has his Grammy accolades and he has all the accolades Jay has, you could legitimately say it's a 1A, number one to 1A with Nas and Jay Z, and it's an optional battle. But in the end of the day, I mean, let's call it 25 years since Biggie and Pac passed. Who in a 25-year span can match what Jay has done with the classics and the hits? I don't know.
But see, here's my issue with that whole argument. Why does Jay have to take the torch? Jay is just as big, or if not bigger than them. I don't understand why is there a torch being passed on? like he's on the same level as them guys. It's the same thing with Nas. They on the same level. Like
Yeah,
I don't see why somebody would. I know what Sean was trying to do. Puff was trying to do, but at the same time, you can't devalue Jay Z. Jay Z is I'll just say it, he's bigger than Biggie. He's bigger than Pac. You can't devalue him. You got to say, well, I understand you passed
I
the
love
torch.
that.
You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? You can't put him below them.
You,
He's
you know
above
what?
them.
You need to trademark that phrase. You cannot devalue Jay Z.
You
You
can't.
just can't.
He really done like he Jay-Z was big as them when they were alive. He wasn't no lackey. He wasn't some guy that was in the background. Nah, he was
Yeah.
making hits when they were alive. I would say he probably had more hits when they were alive. Now, I'm not gonna say he was bigger than them when they were alive, but sure enough, he was doing his thing, so they was all on the same level. Nas, Jay, Big, Pop.
Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. He
Yeah.
said it in the song. Yeah.
They was all on the same level on the East Coast, but then when Pop was on the West Coast, you had Pop, you had Snoop, you know what I'm saying, and whoever else, not Ice Cube, Dr. Dre at the time. You know what I'm saying? That was the three over there, and we had three over here. So I think that you can't say, oh well, he passed the torch to nah. He's already bigger than them. Like, there's no torch being passed. Like, I don't see that.
I think that there's and see, this is the power of the internet. It's crazy, but narratives spread, like they spread like warp speed now.
Yes.
I think this. I mean, it's like high speed internet.
Yeah.
Is how fast.
That's exactly what it is.
It's how fast that narrative spread.
Yeah.
And I think this all started when Jay-Z said the versus comment that nobody could see him in a versus because all of the other, call them stands of all the other generations, the Wayne stands, the Kanye millennial stands, all of them said, but hold up, the Drake stands. And now you got this battle against this man has been around for 25 years versus all of the current stars who their stands ride for them. So now you got this internet back and forth going on, and a lot of the content creators are just eating off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, if Jay-Z would have said that comment 25 years ago, like, all right, let's go back 25 years. When he said the comment, Biggie, who's the greatest MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas?
Yeah.
Nobody really got offended about that. People said, well, you know what, Jay is kind of nice. You know what I mean? Like, he's not what Biggie and Nas has done, because maybe he don't. But Reasonable Doubt came out that time. Volume 1 was kind of hitting. They were like, you know what, that's an okay debate. Mm-hmm. But if he said that in the social media era, where Nas would have had his, stand base, or Biggie had his stand base, they'd be like, wait, hold up. We got to go and we got to dig up dirt on this man. We got to dig up his record sales. We got to dig up what he did in this week. You know what I mean? We got to dig up if he got robbed or beat up. They were looking for dirt on him because the one thing about the internet is everybody looks for an angle to slander you, even just because they don't like you. You know what I mean? And because you're going against my man, it's almost like greatness it can't be two levels of greatness in the same room at the same time. And I don't understand that concept.
Yeah, that concept in hip hop's been around for a long time. I think that when Jay-Z said that, when he said who the greatest MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas, I think that he highlighted that because before that, nobody really cared about who was the GOAT. I think like I told you, LL started that whole GOAT thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think nobody cared about it until then. This is like when nobody really cared about numbers until 50 Cent pointed it out. I sold this amount of records. Then everybody's oh, record sales matter. You know what I'm saying? I think that once Jay-Z highlighted that was like a shift in hip hop. It changed it. So now it's like, well, somebody has to be the best. Because in other music genres, nobody really talks like that.
But the funny thing is that people respected the comment. Like, you
Yeah,
didn't have the LL Cool J head say, now hold on, wait a minute. Like, how is this dude gonna say Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas are the best, and you gonna not mention LL Cool J? I mean, if
yeah,
the internet was around back then, you know what I mean? I mean, all the LL fans would be coming
yeah,
to go and start trouble. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I really do think the internet culture has something to do with that. But I do not see in 25 years of hip hop how it's out of line at all. I mean, he has every right to go and say that. I mean, there's nothing
yeah,
more. I mean, the man has more Grammy nominations than Quincy Jones. Okay, and just
yeah,
to give you an example, Quincy Jones was making music in the 50s, dog.
yeah.
Okay,
But you see how that
Quin-
works, right? You see how this works, right? This is
yeah,
how this is how this works, right?
Quincy Jones was making music 20 years before Jay-Z was even born.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
This is how this works, right? So you bring up Quincy, right? So Quincy back then they didn't have no social media, none of that. So when you literally had to go to the show to hear this music, you hear it on the radio. The radio was the kind of like the internet. It kind of like when you hear something, you hear it on the radio.
that's right.
When
That's
you got
right.
into the '90s, the social media started taking off, but record sales were still so people really didn't. They really didn't have like MySpace and stuff like that. But what are older people? Once Facebook came around and Twitter came around, this is why Kanye West, Drake, uh, Kendrick, Cole. This is why they so much more successful, so much faster. Because now you can literally just pick your phone up and type in a song and it come right up. You couldn't do that before. When Jay-Z and them, you had to go to the
That's right.
store to buy the album. You know what I'm saying? You had to go to buy the album. You can't, or if you want to hear Reasonable Doubt, you can't download iTunes. Nah, you had to go to the store to the wall and get the joint. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is the reason why you got the stand bases saying Kanye and they're saying Drake because they don't understand the music back, not the music, the time period was so different off of how you not re, well you how you received the music. It was so different how you got to it because we had to physically go get it. You don't have to do that. You just sit up at 10:59 Thursday night, wait for an album to drop at 12 o'clock, and what you do? Press download and play and listen to it.
Well, well, it's
You know what
like
I'm saying?
like we said before that Kanye and Kanye and Drake are different, and I think there's a separation between him and a Jay-Z. Even though Jay-Z is a billionaire, I mean Kanye's a billionaire too, but see, Kanye and Drake, they don't have to make classic albums. Their stand bases are so big,
Yeah,
they like them as a person. Like all of those media antics that Kanye does and all the petty stuff that you hear about Drake with women and all of that, that sells for them. They like that. They like that activity um as people. So when Donda drops or Certified Lover Boy and they're very average to weak albums,
yeah,
oh, we just like about 5 songs, but I don't care. I just want to rock with Kanye. You know, I just want to be them. And they get offended when somebody says, well, musically, they've accomplished so much more. They deserve to carry the torch because they're infatuated with that person and that brand, not
mm,
really the music. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I bet you with Drake fans, I bet you 80% of Drake fans do not listen to those albums cut for cut. They
yeah,
don't. And I don't care what you say. If you're a stan, every one of those albums, you're listening to every song cut for cut. You are
yeah,
because you love that artist that much. If not, you're kind of just, oh well, I only like half his catalog, but he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
But that's the logic they use, and I don't understand that.
They use a lot of them use the accolades. They use anything that could support their argument. That's what they're gonna
That's right.
use. They're gonna say, well, he has this amount of awards. Well, he did this faster. He did that. That's what they're gonna say. Yeah, they're not gonna really talk about the music because they look at it like, well, if if I'm Too Sexy streamed 1 billion times, somebody must like it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it don't
yeah,
matter. Like, so he wins. Like, that's how they look at it. Like, they don't look at it from the point of view of, well, maybe the song ain't good and it's just the people, his stands that like the song. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is for the most
yeah.
part.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're just in a different time, and you know what I'm starting to think.
What's good
Remember
with you,
when we
Mojo?
did the remember when we did the GOAT list
I'm
and
almost
the
done.
greatest of all time list.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to think now that maybe you do have to. You can't compare great artists from other eras. You're going to have to separate. All right, that was the great. They were the greats of the Biggie and Pac era. They
Mm,
were the greats of the 2000s. They were the greats of the 2010s, the Kendrick and Cole era. You know, that was their era. And now the 2020s, because hip hop is so different sonically, sounding wise today.
mm,
Sooner or later, a Jay Z's work is not going to be appreciated the way it is for whoever is hot today, a little
mm.
baby or whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe you are gonna have to start separating the GOAT list into, all right, they were to go to that period, they were to go to this period, because as of now, it's barely anybody brings up Rakim, barely
Yeah.
anybody brings up LL Cool J or KRS-One. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe we're headed in that direction, and things like this, these comments, and especially with social media and these stand bases, you know, maybe the GOAT, maybe you're not going to have an all-time GOAT list anymore. I don't know.
I think we have got to that point, and we lived through 3
We
lifetimes of
lived through
hip
all
hop.
the eras.
Yeah, right.
We lived through
I
all
think
the
we have
eras.
gotten to a new era point where you now the best would be considered J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, Kanye, and I don't know who we put at number 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it'll probably Ross. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we done gotten to that point, just like you had Biggie, J, Nas, M, Pop. Before that, you had Rakim, Karis One,
LL.
LL, uh, Kane, and Ice Cube, or whoever else you want to throw in there from back then.
Yeah,
So I think that we got to that point now where the new era has taken over. You know what I'm saying? For me, because now after maybe in another 5 years, I don't think Jay and Nas gonna be making music no more. Jay, Nas,
yeah, I don't think so.
and M, I don't think they're gonna be making music anymore because they're gonna be what almost 60 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not funny, but yeah, I
well,
mean,
here's a question for
yeah,
you, like, cause it's interesting we bring up that we've lived through all of all decades of hip hop,
yeah.
right? Do you think that there's all right? I'm not gonna say, but do you think that we have more of we have more priority of hip hop fans than somebody that's 21 or 22, because we've heard it all, we've experienced it all.
So when
Because
you
a
say
young kid, yeah, basically what I'm saying is, a kid who's 22 years old can't tell me my hip hop opinion is trash or my
okay,
hip hop opinion is whatever, because they don't know no better. They they're like dumb after the fact because they never experienced Biggie in '95 or Tupac in '96. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't know. Because I'm starting to realize when I talk to these people, if you lived it, you understand it a lot more than if you just heard about it or you watch some videos on YouTube.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I
You
think
know what I'm trying to
yeah,
say?
no, I know what you're saying. I think that I think what you're saying for us may be true. But in this time period now, the the way these young guys think, they look at it like, well, look, all right, so look at let's bring 6ix9ine up for example. Look at 6ix9ine. Everybody say he's not real, but he has a following, and that's how they look at it. They look at it like, well, I don't care about that. I like what I like. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about if you believe that your belief of what hip hop should be. I don't care if you believe it means more to you, because to me, I like this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I like. And I think a lot of these young dudes, they have that mentality. Like, what you saying don't mean shit. You know what I mean? It don't matter if you think that this person can rap so nice to the beat. I like NBA Youngboy. I like how he distorts his voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, their care for hip hop is different from the way we care about hip hop. And at this point, and this goes to all the rappers who kind of cater to their style. Kendrick does it, Cole does it, Drake does it. Um, a lot of them, they do it, and this is why I believe that they're more successful because of other things. But I believe this is why they in that conversation still, because
We're
you don't.
we're going to get to the point soon where the young kids are going to be saying, "Oh yeah, Kendrick, yeah, he's an old head, he's trash."
Yeah,
You know that's coming.
but look, here's the thing. They did this back in the day when Biggie, Pop, and all of them was coming up. Nas, they was shit. Oh, Nas is alright. He ain't no Rock him though. He ain't no
But
Karis
see,
what?
notice the difference. That was the old heads doing it to us.
That's what I'm saying. That's so
Now
yeah.
it's the
Now
reverse, where
now
it's
we
the
doing
super
it to
young
them.
heads that it's like we don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah,
Fuck a Jay Z.
that's what
You
I'm
know what I
saying.
mean?
That's what I mean. Like that's how it goes. Like as it goes on, it's like some of these people, if they don't, a lot of these rappers, they can't stay ahead of the curve, so they basically fall off. I mean, you fall into a pocket where people just like your music. You know what I'm saying? They fuck with just you, but you just fall in that pocket. That's it. But outside of
Yeah,
that,
I'm starting to think because, especially with these internet narratives, because listen, the internet, we're in the my truth era.
yeah,
We're in the I believe in my truth era. So everybody is going to believe what they feel is valid or what they feel validates their opinion. And on the internet, you can find it all,
yeah,
you know? So that's why I think it's like it's getting to that point. And I'm noticing that's in hip hop debate because when it gets to the point
I should
where
have done it
it's
like Kendrick.
blasphemous to say Jay-Z isn't the greatest since Biggie and Pac died,
Yeah,
I don't know if I could debate no more, man. Seriously.
yeah. It's.
I really don't.
I don't see. I don't see. I don't see why we're at this point, man. Biggie, Pop, I love him to death. Pun, all of them, I love him to death. But it's gotten to a point where people are just holding on to it because they just love nostalgia. That's it. I think at this point, you kind of gotta give the torch to some of these new dudes who've been breaking their brain with this new music they be coming with. Like We just gonna say, oh well, Kendrick's good, but Biggie's better. It's like, come on, man. This guy just dropped 4 crazy albums.
I mean, it's like I said, like you can't go 20, 25 years, and J. Cole has had, I don't know, 2, 3 classics,
Yeah,
has 20 Grammys, all of this. And there can't be an elephant in the room no more and say, oh, well, Tupac, he's better than him no matter what.
yeah,
I mean, sooner or later, they gotta get past. You
yeah,
know, like the holding on to the truth about Biggie and Tupac, that's getting a little bit, that's getting a little bit flaky too. Let's just say that.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
So
Hey
I
man,
mean, I don't
you
know.
know what it is.
But anyway, first show on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Sean P Reviews. Check me out and check out Reese on the Torture Chamber and Torture Talk.
Yep.
Like, share, subscribe. We got plenty more content to come on. We're gonna find a way to live stream this so we get this back on the audio back on Spotify and Apple iTunes too.
Mm-hmm.
But new era, man.
Yeah, yeah.
We're here now. How many people we have? We could have 4 people, 4
Yeah,
guests
we
on.
got 4 people on. We could add four more. Actually, no, I think it's more now. I think they updated it. Cause when I looked at it, it looked like it had like 6 people on there. So
All right,
we could have some more guests on.
definitely,
You know what I'm
because I
saying?
think this is the wave now, man. Like we could have some. We really could have hip hop discussions face to face now.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
like about
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
man.
yep.
So finally we could do that.
All right.
So y'all enjoy. We're gonna post this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check us out. Like, share, subscribe both of our pages. We're gonna post this in our group. Uh, Hip Hop Roundtable presents the review. So definitely stay tuned for that. And y'all have a good night. Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us, and we'll see y'all again. All right.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.